The original Silk Road is one of the most famous trade routes on the planet, conjuring up images of a bygone era filled with mystery and history. It originated in China, but Turkey was a critical point that bridges the Eastern and Western worlds. So I travelled to the Turkish port of Izmir, which is twinned with the Chinese city of Chengdu, to discover the goods which were transported up until the 15th century from China through Turkey and into Europe. Trade on the Silk Road was one of the major factors which allowed the great civilizations of China, Persia, Arabia and Rome to develop by connecting Asia to the Mediterranean world. As early as 2000 BC, spices from China such as cinnamon and its sister spice cassia found their way along the spice routes to the Middle East, a major trading centre for spices. Traders were highly protective of their lucrative business, inventing colourful tales to confuse and deceive their competitors. Two such stories told how cassia from southern China grew in a lake guarded by winged animals, and cinnamon grew in deep glades and vales infested with poisonous snakes. Initially, the spices were transported by camel and caravans over land routes. Originating at Xi'an, the 4,000-mile road followed the Great Wall of China to the northwest, through the Pamir Mountains and onto the Levant and Anatolia. Few traders covered the entire route, and the goods were handled by a progression of middlemen delivering ginger, cinnamon, cassia, cloves, frankincense and saffron. The spices, being both small and dried, were highly transportable. But it was mainly by sea that the spice trade grew. In East Asia, the Chinese crossed the waters of the Malay archipelago to trade in the islands of the Moluccas and East Indies, and Arabic traders sailed directly to spice-producing lands. Spices were highly valued, as during these times Europeans lacked refrigeration and general sanitation to keep food hygienic. So spices were used to literally spice up the food and conceal the flavour of not-so-fresh edibles. At its peak, the spice trade was the world's biggest industry. Condiments, which nowadays are widely available and inexpensive, were once very tightly guarded and generated great wealth for those who controlled them. Spices were so sought after that they could establish and even destroy empires. It's extraordinary to think that nutmeg was once worth more by weight than gold, and that a ransom of 3,000 pounds of peppercorns was demanded by the Visigoths during the sack of Rome in 410 AD. Nowadays, most of us can go to a local shop or supermarket to find our cinnamon and cassia, and spices no longer enjoy the status and value that once put them on a par with fine jewels and precious metals. But this open access to the wonderful variety of spices allows each of us to bring flavours from around the globe into our homes, alongside connecting us to a part of history that continues to intrigue and inspire us. And it reminds us that life is a bit more flavourful when we spice things up. Last month, I visited the large and famous bazaar in Izmir to track down some of these aromatic seasonings, and I quickly found that I'd come to spice paradise. At almost every corner, little stalls and kiosks were teeming with colourful fare, and the aroma was marvellously intense. There were plenty of options to choose from, and of course it's important to haggle, which is a tradition in these bazaars. I was shown some extraordinarily perfumed cinnamon, and also some cassia, which is the aromatic bark from South China with a darker, stronger and hotter flavour than cinnamon.
I found a really brilliant place and I'm about to buy some cinnamon. May I smell, It smells fantastic. It's really good. Okay. So yes, I'm going to take this, please. Thank you.
Can't wait to try cooking with them at home. I'm Tasmin Little, violinist, recording artist and culture contributor for the China Current.